Hello friends, what you're about to listen to is the Geek Out After the series. Now this is an out-of-character discussion with me and the rest of the cast over everything that has happened in Misconceptions. Now if you haven't finished listening to Misconceptions, you probably do not want to listen to this episode. In fact, I would advise against it. So once you've finished listening to the entirety of Misconceptions, why don't you come back to the Geek Out After the series and enjoy our discussion about everything that was happening in Misconceptions.
Guys, y'all remember that game that was like, you would pull it up on your old Windows and there would be bombs on some spaces and you would have to click the boxes and like not hit the bombs?
Minesweeper.
Thank you. That is what Audacity looks like.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of does.
I can't believe they got rid of Minesweeper. I'm pissed.
R.I.P. Minesweeper. You were the real one.
Pinball, though.
That's true.
Windows
Space
pinball, though.
Pinball.
Windows also had this like color game thing.
That was called MS Paint, Tessa.
No. It was it was on one of the laptops that like first like turned and flipped and you could like lay the monitor down.
Oh.
We didn't have that in my family.
It had like these special games that were like these little two paint balls that you like had to like get them to follow certain patterns or things like that, and I really miss it. Like I think about it often and I'm like, I just want these games.
I don't know anything
I think
about
about it often. I wonder if they think about me.
Every night before Tessa goes to sleep, she's like, the paintball game.
Paintballs.
Paintball.
I so wish I could remember what they were called.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to a very special episode, kind of Misconceptions, our Geek Out After the series. And I have Tessa, Jaime, and Carrie here, and I also have a voice that is familiar to you, but a name that might not be. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, listeners. My name is Occam, the artist formerly known as Christian. I go by they, them pronouns now, so just so you know. And that's really all that's important about me. No, I'm just kidding.
Insert introduction.
I already said
All
that.
right. Well, what? Yeah, okay. So,
With y'all, this is gonna be great.
so I have gathered everybody here to just have a little out-of-character conversation about our show, which is done. We have finished Misconceptions after 4 long years.
I'm offended that you said that so happily.
I'm about to cry.
Endings are good. Endings are natural. It is the cycle of life.
No.
And if it was a Disney movie, it would be the circle of life. To go on forever.
I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Y'all remember? Tessa, Carrie, and Jaime, do you remember, like, our first recording session?
I feel like I do. I was probably late.
I think that was before I was pregnant.
Yeah.
So no.
You have not been pregnant for 4 years.
I don't know.
I don't know if I remember specifically our first recording session, but I remember recording sessions around the table, setting up mics, getting
coffee.
getting coffee,
Food.
getting coffee like way later than we said we were going to start recording.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to start at 9:30, and then we're drinking coffee at like 11 and having sound issues at 10. Well, that was backwards. We went back in time, so we time traveled.
And we still have sound issues today.
And wouldn't you know it, before we press the record button, actually after we press the record button, we had issues. So it might not be an episode, but it's definitely Misconceptions.
Woo!
Let's just open it up. I have some questions that I wrote down, and we of course have questions from the listeners that we are going to answer later. But let's just open it up. Does anyone have any questions? This is the chance you have to figure out everything that we didn't fully explore, or just to talk about what this show has meant to you for the past 4 years.
Where is Kevin?
Where is Kevin?
That is the question.
Kevin is in a different campaign. He was in our Star Wars campaign.
Oh, I was like, I don't know.
This is garbage.
Yep. He was an engineer that came aboard. He was an engineer that came aboard Carrie's ship, and some pirates showed up, and then Carrie lifted off and inadvertently kidnapped the Celestin mechanic who became part of the smuggling crew.
And
That's
despite
amazing.
what I called him, he would tell you that his name is not Kevin.
I see.
But his name was definitely Kevin.
Yeah,
It's not my name.
100%. Is Tavos secretly Logan in disguise?
Is Tavos secretly Logan in disguise? He might be.
I've
we'll have
never
to ask
seen them
Tavos.
both in the same place.
It's true. I've never seen Tavos or Logan in the same place.
That would be so funny.
I don't think that's a fair analysis.
You remember the Pepsi Zip commercials? Or it would be like, yeah, that's what I imagine. We're gonna meet Tavos in person one day, and he's just gonna zip and be Logan.
That'd be so
Debate
Gonna
me.
zip. Like a Looney Tunes back in action-esque sequence where he unzips himself.
Then he pulls out a mallet. Boing. If we're just talking generally, Space Jam 2 is garbage. If we're trying to talk
kinda
about
was.
It's so bad.
Not gonna lie.
it's still garbage.
And Nathan was trying to tell me that I was looking at Space Jam 1 through rose-tinted glasses. And I was like, maybe I am, Nathan, but this is a bad movie.
Yeah,
It's objectively
in every
bad.
sense of the word.
I watched The Fellowship of the Ring for the first time.
I'm so proud of you,
Did you
Tessa.
say
I'm so
read
happy.
or watched?
That's awesome.
Watched.
That's great. What'd you think?
It was
You
a
hated it.
movie.
You
No,
hated
I
it.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't. I was more prepared because I had read the first book and I hated the first book. And so I was mentally prepared, but still about 2 hours in, I was like, I swear if they walk through another damn forest, I'm going to lose my mind.
They are really long.
But no, it was good. The acting is incredible. It's a beautiful movie. The cinematography is great. The actors and actresses are wonderful. It's just that, like, the developing the characters and everything is my least favorite part of stories. Sorry, David.
I want my characters to be fully realized at step number 1. Chapter 1, I want to know everything about the character.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
Well, then you would like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, because the opening scene sets up every single thing you need to know about the character of Peter Parker. Those are very good movies. I really
Which
need
Spider-Man?
to rewatch them. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man, the one that came out when you were 5.
The Tobey Maguire
I
ones.
know this. Yes, I like those.
There was an easier way to say. Oh gosh, COVID David has too much sass.
David always has sass.
He turned it up to 11 though.
I turned it up to 19 for COVID-19.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
I have a
COVID-19.
misconceptions question.
Okay.
Oh,
Open us
that's
up.
not what we're here for.
I'm just here to talk about
sorry.
old movies.
All right, I guess I'll leave. No.
All right, fine.
Jaime, how did it feel to step back into Bill for the last episode?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It was strange, but it was like a glove. So, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think a part of me missed it a little bit with the busyness of life. I needed to step back from it, but it was nice to be able to, get some closure, have some more finality.
Yeah.
I just play the character because it's part of my life for a long time. It's kind of strange. But they actually asked us to do, we're taking a gamified class in my master's course, and they asked us for an avatar, and I almost wanted to be like, just use Bill. Be like, hey,
Yes.
this is who I was for like 3.5 years.
Yeah, this is me.
This is me.
This is me. This is real.
But yeah. How did it feel, Occam, to step in to like Misconceptions, to transition in to try to like, I don't know. I feel like that might be kind of difficult.
I had been pining to play Muhammad again for like, I don't even know. How long was it since that first time? It'd been like 1.5 to 2 years.
Probably 2 years.
Something like 2 years. And I'd been joking with David a lot about, hey, when are you going to let me play Muhammad again? When are you going to let me fix your horrible voice? And it was just this continuous joke the whole time. He did a wonderful job. I had no issues with David's Muhammad voice. I just thought it was funny. So yeah, I mean, when he approached me about coming in and helping finish out the series, I was fully on board. I'd been super excited to do it, and then stepping back into the character took very little time, and I feel like the rapport that I had with it was honestly kind of great, because the characters that were left were the two characters that Muhammad had interacted with most when I had been on the last time. So
I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, our episodes were Faye and Esther and Muhammad, so it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So it was really easy to step back into that vibe and that rapport that they had with each other, which was really nice. And to get to expand on all that, which was great. So
yeah, we really got to, I mean, you got to really develop Muhammad as a character in these last improv 12 episode 11 episodes, because Bill left at 80, so 11 episodes of Muhammad.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was that many.
It really didn't feel like that many.
Yeah. And let's talk about the huge Jaime coming back to be Bill in episode 92 thing. Ooh. Like that huge surprise that I had to keep secret from everybody.
That was emotional.
It was great. It was so good.
Yeah, that was fun. When we were getting close to the finale, I was like, hey, Jaime, and I messaged him. I was like, hey, it would be really cool if you could come back to do our Geek Out and just like hear us wrap up all the plot threads that you were involved in. But it would also be cool if you came back and recorded the very last episode with us, and like we surprised everybody. And it was kind of funny because I like hadn't tipped my hand, anything like that, and like everybody was talking about Jaime before we revealed that he was there. Like we had gone to Whataburger. We had talked about like, because Whataburger's Jaime's favorite, and we talked about like doing a seance of summoning Jaime with the different Whataburger items.
We did. It was so funny.
I forgot about that.
And I was texting Jaime, and he was actually responding, so that was weird. I was like, oh, he's actually responding. That's
so then
cool.
we started trashing Jaime's texting skills.
Yeah.
And he was on the Discord call the whole time. I was like, okay.
I forgot about that.
Let's go ahead and get started.
Funny. So funny.
I was very, very anxious to like pull that off. Like I was very nervous. I looked at it, it was like 50 minutes before Jaime was introduced, and I revealed it. So like I was so nervous that first 50 minutes, and then it was done. It was like, okay, all right, let's do the rest of the finale.
Now you can breathe.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the week leading up to that last recording session, I had been thinking like, man, it'd be really cool if we could have Bill for this last session. And I thought about texting you, David, but I was like, David's producing it. He knows what he's doing. It's fine. And then you pulled it out, and I was just like, okay, cool.
Well, I said it in the car when we were in the drive-thru at Whataburger. I was like, man, it'd be really cool if we could have gotten Jaime to come back for this episode. And David was like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
bad we can't.
Man, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
That's
a really good idea, Carrie.
Oh man,
Phenomenal idea.
That's cool.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I bet he's super busy right now, though. He probably can't. Don't text him or call him or anything.
Well, though, actually, what David said at one point was like he almost told me at that point. And then
that
he
was like I almost ruined it in the drive-thru, and I was like, I mean, you want to know? You want to know something? Guess who's gonna be there? No, that was. I am very excited to read people's responses to that reveal because I'm editing it right now, and like I actually, when Tessa was over a couple of days ago, I let her listen to it. And I haven't put any sound effects or anything to it yet, but I'm excited for
to hear
that
it.
reveal.
Two things. So first, where I sit at the table, listeners, is like to the right of David, and Carrie and David's table is hexagon. It's a gon.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an octagon.
Octagon, perfect. And so like the way that it's angled, I can always see David's computer.
Yeah.
But I can't read what's going on. Like it's too far away. I'm too blind to like actually be able to see. And before we started, David got like super protective of his computer, and he was like, I never need you to look at my computer, but today you cannot look at my computer. And I was like, I mean, okay, like I don't try to, like I don't want to spoil it. And I was so confused. And so then when Jaime was revealed, I was like, okay.
I think, like, I haven't finished editing that episode yet, but I think that made it into the episode.
Oh,
because
really?
I think the stinger bit, like the before intro bit, is how we're riffing on Tessa because she said, "Don't worry, I can't read." And you're like, "Oh, shit, Tessa can't read, everybody."
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know
So
that.
good.
Jaime, I was, fork. Shirting fork. Jaime. Jaime, I was wondering, I'm going to ask it 6 more times so that I'm not laughing while I ask it. Jaime, I was wondering how it was to be on your side of it, like just hearing for 50 minutes or an hour of us like talking about you, doing the
Talking
episode.
smack about
all of
you.
that.
Just
No, it was, I don't know, it was kind of funny. Like, just hearing an episode and hearing y'all's like cadence and flow and the kind of questions you were asking and like the things that were happening and not actively participating felt like, it felt like watching a movie, right? Or like, I did feel like I could imaginatively engage more than when I'm thinking, what's the next thing I'm going to do? And so it's like, it's like you're listening to the podcast, but you're seeing it happen. And just wondering, like, when is David going to bring me into this? Like, what? Like, oh, this would be a good part. Like, oh. And then,
When is this not going to be boring for me anymore?
No, it wasn't boring. It was cool. It was actually pretty good because it helped me out to, fully contextualize what's going on, right? Like we're fighting now. Hey, boss fight. We're fighting this huge dragon. A lot has happened in the 11 episodes since I've been here, you know.
Uh-huh.
So it was helpful in that sense, but it was different. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I'm self-aware, so I didn't take offense to anything.
I'm pretty sure we've also all said these things to your face.
Yeah, it's
100%.
Like,
100%.
it wasn't like, oh, we're just
no
talking
one was
crap behind his
like,
back.
oh, I'm the worst human being. It's just like, he's not the
It's
greatest.
like, we love him so much, but he doesn't text.
It's true. Or I'll text a lot for like 2 days, and then I'll just
Fall off.
And David's like, how are you doing? And then Leslie's like, I think David has COVID. It's like, why didn't you lead with that? Gosh.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't get on Facebook, so like my mom will like screenshot stuff on Facebook and send it to me, and so like sometimes people will say stuff about what David posted on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't know what he posts on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, so y'all gotta let me know.
That's probably
I just
for
get
the
on
best.
Facebook to start fights with conservatives.
true.
Yeah. 92 episodes.
David, when you started Misconceptions, did you think it was going to be 92 episodes?
Not at all.
How many episodes did you think it was going to be?
50 something.
Really?
Yeah.
So when we got past 50, were you like, oh crap?
Well, no, because
Almost double.
by episode 50, like, my vision of the story had changed drastically for the better already. So by 50, it was like, it was its own story. It was going to keep going and going and going, and perpetuity, or whatever it's called. I'm a little disappointed that we did not get to 100. I wish we had gotten to like Misconceptions episode 100 to be the end. But I mean, I think we finished the story in the best way that we could. And actually, I had no intention of it, even after episode 50, I had no intention of it going for 4 years. But season 3 took us a very long time to finish. Like, season 1 took a long time because it was long. Season 2 is pretty quick. Because we had it down pretty well. But then, like, season 3, a lot of stuff just happened, and we had to take numerous breaks and like all this stuff, and it was just. I won't
COVID
lie.
And everything.
Well, yeah, COVID and personal life stuff, but I'll be honest. I actually thought about quitting Misconceptions during season 3, and like just being like, I'm done. And this is over, and I'm glad I didn't.
Was that mostly mental health?
Yeah, it wasn't enjoyable for me because there were a couple of recording sessions that I would leave and I would be like, that wasn't good. Like I didn't like anything that happened. Like it just wasn't enjoyable for me anymore. But then it did get enjoyable.
I have a world building question for you.
Yeah.
And I have to compare it to D&D because I feel like you just have to, right? So, you've DM'd a lot for D&D, and I feel like there's like a ton of resources for world building and campaigns and stuff. How different slash challenging slash difficult was it for you to build out an entire world in a city? And like, how did City of Mist world building compare to D&D? Like, what are some of the things you like from City of Mist comparatively, or what are some things you wish could get worked on, or that would help out? What is it, GMs, game masters?
Yeah. Well, with City of Mist, it's masters of ceremonies. Well, with world building tools, you can really find some great world building tools that are not system specific. Like D&D has, it's just been around forever, right? So it has so much pre-written content. Like if I'm running my own campaign and I want my characters to go to Minzo Baran or whatever the Drow city is, it has been statted out.
Like, thank you.
Minzo Barazon, thank you, Occam. But if I want them to go there, they can go there. Like it has the map, it has the NPCs, it has the dangers that you would encounter there. And with City of Mist being still relatively new, it's only 5 years old really. There's not as much. Now I will say, whenever we started this show, there was barely anything. There was just the skinny starter set book. And then they came out with the full core rulebook with the full character creation rules. And recently they have released a full campaign book, which takes you from the beginning of this case all the way to the avatar at the end. And that was helpful to me at the end, looking at the avatar in that and kind of figuring out how to do my own avatar. As for world building in the city, I'm very critical of my own work, and my biggest regret of City of Mist is Misconceptions is how inexperienced I was at the beginning of Misconceptions, because I've been running games forever, but I realized I wasn't a good DM or MC or anything at the beginning. And I wish, first of all, I wish we had done a session 0. I think if we had done a session 0, we could have really created a cohesive storyline. And the Cabal could have been connected more to all of you. I think Jeremiah obviously was very connected with Bill, and that made it a very poignant storyline, very poignant arc. But as for the rest, they weren't connected to any of you. Of course, you could have some parallels. Dr. Jacoby was kind of similar. Could be Rin, if Rin went evil. This man of science. Faye could have become Pip Hamill, maybe, if she leaned more into politics and let politics corrupt her instead of using it as a force of good. Esther could have become Agatha, this woman who lives in seclusion, and is bitter. So we could draw some parallels, but that's posthumously, and I didn't. If I had known that going in, I could have layered it in and made it put more story beats to it. So my biggest regret of Misconceptions is that I didn't know what a session 0 was and how to do that. And also at the beginning of Misconceptions, it was very much this is my story, and I was being very selfish with it.
I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn here, but I didn't feel that.
Okay. Well, in a little bit, I'm going to read y'all what I originally had in mind for Misconceptions, because y'all had no choice.
We were all babies in a new system. I think you do.
Yeah,
that's true.
But also, 4 years is a long time to try to think. I'm gonna have something planned out for 4 years when we don't even know how long it's gonna go. I think
Sure.
And it ended up pretty dope.
Also, in a podcast setting, sometimes it's better to have more of a structured story element, because it gives you there's less potential for just not knowing where to go or anything like that, and that can be a problem in a lot of different games. So having that start being more, I want this to go this way, and then allowing yourself to adapt as you go, which you did, makes it great. I don't think you, from a listener perspective in the beginning, I didn't feel like you were railroading too much or stifling the players at all. And then having played in that early stage too, within that first, I don't know, I think it was episode 24, I think was one of the first ones I was in.
Yeah, I think 24 is
somewhere
Bears
around
and
there.
Bullets.
Yeah, having played that early on, I didn't feel that either. So
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's really easy for us to... how often is it that you record the first few sessions of a campaign? It's not typical that you can look back on a campaign you started 4 years ago and be like, oh man, I really sucked these first 4 episodes. But I feel like that's part of the process too. We all didn't know what we were doing. It was a freaking mess.
Oh, yeah.
It was a beautiful mess. It was chaotic. It was fun. And that was why we were doing it. And I think if we had waited for City of Mist to fully release and start then, I'm not sure if we would have started the podcast.
Yeah.
Because life just kept getting
we
more
struck
and more
while
crazy.
the iron was hot.
Yeah. And so no, it wasn't perfect at the beginning, and it's still not going to ever be perfect, but I wouldn't be too hard on yourself, because it's easy to look back and be like, oh, we're doing better than we did 4 years ago. Well, dear God, I hope so. It'd be really bad if we weren't. That would be concerning.
Well, I also think editing every single one of these 92 episodes and spending 2-3 hours on each one really made me realize I should ask my players questions more and let them build the scene and be creative. And in those four years, I've picked up books, I've read books, I've watched streams and other DMs like do their thing and take what they do and like apply it to what I do. And just a little aside, listeners, if you want to start your own podcast, here's my advice to you. 1, definitely do a session 0 to get on board, like everybody on board with what you're doing, the tone of your game, the characters you want to make, safety, all of that stuff. 2, record your first 4 episodes and never release them. And then start your show at episode 5 and keep going. Because in the first 4 episodes, you're going to get out all the awkward ums and ahs and all the awkward tech problems. If you start with 5 and make that the starting point, I think it'll be a better start for you. Because, I mean, there's so many podcasts out there. If you don't get somebody hooked on your very first episode, they're not going to listen.
Yeah, that is hard. Honestly, that's kind of what happened unintentionally with Sins of the Father.
Yeah, it is. Very much.
I mean, our DM was brand new for episode 1 of the new version, but the players, we'd all played together already for like 5 episodes.
Yeah. Like we had like the original Sins of the Father episodes were like character building sessions for us to explore our characters and figure out who they were.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, Jaime, to answer your question. Sure.
Excellent. Did you say you were going to read us what you had originally planned?
Yeah, let me read the. So this was before. Like this was before I knew like what a iceberg was. Before after this was even really before I understood like what rifts were in City of Mist, because in the early starter set, it's like, here's Salamander, he has powers. That's it, and you didn't really know like, oh, it's connected. Like the definition between the mythos and the rift like wasn't clearly defined in the starter set, and I mean you can tell that in our early episodes of Misconceptions. Like we didn't have mythoi behind our characters. But once we figured it out, we did it. So, anyways, here's my original storyline for City of Mist. Heroes discover new drugs on the streets, takes over people's minds, and allows them to be controlled. Heroes find drug manufacturing facility and take down ringleaders, a hag and a troll. That didn't happen. Heroes discover a curious logo on the drugs. ... And I hadn't figured that part out yet. Time passes. Make friends with ADA Deacon. And Deacon Smith. Deacon, in the original story, Deacon was going to be a much bigger character. And we'll explore why. ... Make friends with news reporter. That was Linda before she was named. ... Deacon discovers heroes' secret identities and joins them as an ally. ... Deacon and news reporter become romantically involved. ... And then the rest was, heroes find a facility creating artificial superpowers. Heroes destroy facility and find one sample. Deacon, and see, I'm not giving y'all a choice. Y'all have to take this sample. Like, if y'all didn't take the sample, if you destroyed it, if you took it for yourselves, that would destroy the whole storyline. Anyways, Deacon takes sample to gain powers. With powers, becomes the masked vigilante Beacon. Deacon becomes Beacon. Beacon takes fight to Draco, and that was the original Drace DeSantos, and makes his mission against Draco clear. Draco uses news reporter, secretly the wizard, to mind control Deacon and make him do awful things, like kill people. When Deacon comes to, he is distraught. Huh? Oh yeah, when Beacon comes to, he is distraught and mentally unstable. Beacon blames the heroes for everything. Heroes discover the wizard was the news reporter all along. After the heroes defeat the wizard, Beacon arrives and kills the wizard in cold blood. Beacon starts down a dark path and the heroes cannot control him. Beacon and Draco finally collide in a climactic battle over the city, with the heroes trying to control collateral damage. Fight ends with a giant explosion, and neither Beacon nor Draco being able to be found. ... Beacon later resurfaces as a dark monster variant of himself. So see, like, that was like, if that had been a book, it would have been an entertaining book. But like, as an RPG where you three or four are also the storytellers, that's not good. I gave you no creative input. Like, I had you all like, you have to do this in order for my thing to happen. So that was Misconceptions' original story. And really, it was going to be Deacon's story.
Seriously,
and y'all were
though.
just there for it.
I'm fascinated by Deacon now.
Yeah.
I mean, I
want
was from the
somebody
beginning.
make a comic book.
Yeah. He's like Deacon in that story that you just mentioned reminds me of, I don't remember his name, but in Sky High, the like sidekick.
Oh, yeah. That
Teacher.
becomes the villain.
No.
Oh, no, the sidekick villain? Oh, the side.
no.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Which
the teacher.
sidekick are you talking about?
The
Are you talking
teacher
about-
one, that was...
Yeah, he used to be a Stronghold sidekick.
I don't remember his name, but those were the vibes I always got from Deacon, so making him Beacon just turns him into that for me.
That's great.
Yeah, and see, y'all wouldn't have even gotten to fight the big bad guy. Like, it would have been Beacon's fight.
Well, that's rude.
So that's why I say, like, my original story was bad. You should always allow your players more creative input. The more you can involve your players in literally everything, the better your story will be. Because, like,
For sure.
if you allow your players to create an NPC, like, NPC walks in the screen, or even, like, in your session 0, in Misconceptions 2, I did a thing where, in our session 0, because God knows I'm going to do a session 0 with Misconceptions 2, I went around the table and I said, everybody give me an NPC. And so we came up with this list of NPCs, and now whenever they arrive on screen, like, the characters are emotionally attached to them because they made them.
We have some amazing NPCs.
Yeah. So the more you can involve players in creative decisions, the better. It is not your story, it's our story. But yeah, what do y'all think about the original plot line of Misconceptions?
I think, in theory, it sounds pretty cool, but I think we realized that in actuality, it's difficult. Like, we probably wouldn't have even found the sample. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess you could have had it, like, illuminated. You could have narratively made us find it, but man, we struggled with detective work, it seems, all for the entire thing.
Yeah, like whenever y'all were at Paul St. George's
Oh gosh.
home, and y'all didn't even look at the spear case. Y'all just skipped right over the thing
It was
the
open.
relic was in.
Yeah.
It was open, and you didn't look at it.
That was all we
Esther went to
needed.
the weight room. Faye was throwing a fit in the corner. Ren and Bill went upstairs. Oh no, Faye went to the garage.
Yeah, I did.
And then she went out to the balcony.
I think, as a fellow DM, that it sounds like every starter storyline, like every DM probably that comes up with a storyline like that, they all sound a little like that. Like, it's always like, I have these cool characters that I want to do this, and I want the storyline to go in this direction. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're willing to adapt as you go. And you can still bring in a lot of those story beats and stuff throughout the story, even if your players completely abandon things, you can always find ways to bring in little bits and pieces of that original idea. It's just brainstorming. It's normal. That's how every DM should start their process. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that you had originally envisioned things.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to start somewhere with a story and get people on board, so
Yeah.
it's just natural.
Plus, we just, none of us in the group, most of us in the group are not people to just, like, not have opinions and do things. So I think if you would have tried to force a story on us, it would have, like, turned around anyways because Jaime's going to argue with you about rules as long as he can.
And Misconceptions made it pretty ambiguous or City of Mist made it pretty ambiguous in the beginning, so it was very easy.
What do you mean my tattoos can't turn into literally anything?
That's garbage.
I react before it happens.
Have you ever seen that SpongeBob episode where he gets the magic pencil? That's what I pictured my tattoos as being. What
do you mean I can't turn my tattoos into a gun?
Yeah. Just
there's a Japanese folktale where a kid, or maybe he's an adult, but he discovers a paintbrush, and whenever he draws with the paintbrush comes to life. So you definitely could have found that relic. There's a character idea for you. Oh, hey. Misconceptions. The idea of Drace DeSantos came from another podcast. Been keeping this on wraps for 5 years. Came from the Myths and Legends podcast. It is a very cool podcast where a dude goes through a bunch of different myths and legends that you think you know, but actually have shocking origins. And this was the dragon and St. George really caught my imagination, and I was like, I want to have a story that focuses on the dragon and like has him as the bad guy because he got gypped because he was lazy. So Drace, whenever he awakens in the city, he realizes like how lazy he was because in the story, the original story, St. George and the Dragon, he just like lives in this cave and he lets these village people bring him like sacrifices, lamb, sheep, virgins, and he just eats them all, and he's like content to do that for the rest of his life. And so my idea for Drace was like, he's not going to sit idly by. He's going to take the initiative and try to build something and try to make this into his kingdom. So that's why he puts together the Cabal. That's why he decides to destroy the wells and use them. And he finds Paul St. George and kills him and steals a spear because it's the only thing that could kill him. So that was Drace's whole motive.
Yeah, it was really cool, actually. I really liked the way that went. And I also loved that none of us put together a lot of the clues. Like, his name was literally Paul St. George and race.
Yep.
And none of us got it until like the last episode when we finally fought him. It was just like,
and he worked at Knight Technologies.
Yep.
To be fair, I still don't
We got
know
it before
these
the last
stories.
episode. We didn't get it until we met with Agatha. Not Agatha.
Miss Minnie.
Miss Minnie.
Miss Minnie, that's the name.
Uh-huh.
She came in clutch. That was very unexpected.
Miss Minnie was great.
Yeah, Miss Minnie was not originally part of my iceberg. She was not originally part of my iceberg.
But we weren't getting there, so you had to do something.
Well, a huge part of Drace's plan was the mist, and I needed someone that like knew about the mist and would like be able to manipulate it and teach Drace about it. And at that time, the gatekeepers didn't exist, and they will never exist in the world of misconceptions because they would totally have derailed everything that happened.
Was Miss Minnie the rift of Mimir?
She definitely was.
Yes, I knew it.
Yep,
Who
that's
is
why her
that?
head was cut off.
Yes, I figured.
Mimir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mimir is a dude from Norse legend, Norse mythology, and there's two sets of gods, and they really hate each other and they want to kill each other. And Mimir was kind of caught in between them, and they got mad at him and chopped off his head. The short version of it. You could wax poetic about the poetic Ida all day, but we don't need to.
He's also kind of like super knowledgeable about like everything.
Yeah. Knows a lot.
So,
Do we have questions from listeners?
Sure. I had some. Do we have any more questions from y'all?
I feel like yes.
I'm sure that we'll come up with more too.
I was just going to say a lot of my questions were asked by when I was reading some of the stuff that was in the doc. So yeah.
One last thing about Drace. He was a very one-dimensional villain, and it was somewhat intentional. Because as much as Drace was a rift of the dragon from St. George, he was also a rift of capitalism. And, you know, he's up here profiting off of all these other people. And we get to spend time learning about all these other people. Because all the other people, the employees of capitalism, are more important than the people up here that are profiting.
Ugh.
That was anyways,
masterful.
That's a little...
Absolutely love it.
Yep. Okay. Let me ask a question. Tessa, this came up earlier in an episode, but I was going to go ahead and let you say it now. Who came up with the name Mistconceptions?
So the name Mistconceptions originally came from... Should I use her full name? Is that okay? I think... Yeah, I can. But
Your
yes.
person?
What?
It's your person.
Yes, so the name Mistconceptions originally came from Sarah Ritchie, who is one of my friends from college, and she's amazing at puns, and so I just texted like 20 of my college friends, and I was like, in one group message, by the way, and I was like, need a name, like City of Mist, it's about like da-da-da-da-da-da, and within a few minutes, she was like, Mistconceptions, and I was like, you are a genius. Ta-da!
Yeah. That was very good name, obviously, because we've used it. And now it's the name of our podcast network.
You have to make a chibi of her honorarily and put it on the store.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I don't even know if she remembers. Like, it was just something that it wasn't that uncommon for our group to be like, random idea about this, go. And like people would do random stuff. And so I don't know if she remembers, but I need to reach out to her.
Can you imagine? We were in college when this started.
No.
Well, no. Okay,
No.
some of us were in college.
Tessa was
wasn't
in
still in
college when
college.
this started.
Jaime was in college.
Yeah.
Jaime was too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Wait.
fair.
Wait,
That's fair.
when was it? Was it 2017?
Yeah, 2017 is when we released our first episode. We started recording, I think, in 2016.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then I was definitely in college.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What was your favorite moment from the show?
God, it's hard. Stop diddling yourself.
Yeah.
When I turned my tattoos into springs. The rampage in the Italian restaurant that.
Oh, yeah.
And
the shootout in the pizzeria.
Yeah, the shootout in the pizzeria. That was insane.
That episode
There's
was
too many
nuts.
Yeah, the 18-wheeler whenever mind control had to happen. That whole series actually, where we were like waiting at the docks, like there's too many good moments.
Is that when I had to stop holding back to stop Rin from screwing it all up?
I don't think you stopped holding back. I think you burned a tag.
Yeah, you might have had to
like,
burn a
control
tag.
him.
That was pretty BA.
Yeah.
I remember early on when I used a react before it happens, and I like got rid of a grenade that almost killed all of us at the beginning.
Yeah, Jimmy the Butcher.
And I think that really made you angry, but I was like, killed it, yeah.
Yeah. And see, I should be happy when the heroes do very cool things.
It's obnoxious sometimes.
My favorite moment as a listener was the beast breaking through the bar wall. That scene was
That
so
was
good.
not my favorite moment.
It was so awesome. As a player, I would say, honestly, that first episode with Muhammad scaring away the like concert goers as a bear was pretty fantastic. And the episode that will forever be my favorite episode now, the one with Muhammad in the oven, walking through the memories with Linda. That was just so good.
Yeah, What We Have Become, episode 89.
Amazing episode.
Yeah, that was a beautiful episode.
I feel like, too, I don't know if this has been mentioned before, but I just feel like kudos to Akam and David for being able to do that episode, because none of it was planned, and it sounds so beautifully scripted. And the way that you listen to the episode, like, there weren't a ton of like long pauses or like, oh, what if I did this or this? Like, they in person were just like boom, 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 like right off of each other. It was a beautiful sight to witness.
It was really good.
I thought they had I really had thought that they had like talked about it before or something.
Me too.
Like some kind of conversation happened.
That's the funny thing, is like David kind of just was like, hey, I've got this idea. Let's do this. And I was just like, okay. And he had his stuff scripted, obviously. I had to go off the cuff on everything. And basically what happened with it is I kind of just, whatever his little arc was, I tried to make an almost parallel kind of thing with Muhammad to give it that kind of back and forth. And it turned out really good. I was freaking out the whole time because I was like, I don't know if I can just, this is heavy improv, and my improv skills have never been amazing. I'm a heavily planner when it comes to like DMing and other things, so it was definitely interesting. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Well, you did a great job, and that made Linda's death even more emotional.
Yeah, that was the episode where by the end of it, I could not do Muhammad's voice. I was like, my voice was shaky. It was that good of an episode. It affected me so hard, which was just crazy.
Yeah. And spinning out of that, Tessa, could you please tell the listeners what was going on with Faye's avatar hood?
Yeah, Faye had a journey. So basically, I mean, the beauty of the mechanics of City of Mist, things can change in one roll very drastically. So clearly Faye became Avatar. And, you know, I listened back to that episode this week, and you can hear kind of the mechanics of what we did there. But, like, internally, I was freaking out. On one side, it was a blast to get to play as an avatar because there are basically no limits. Are you going to destroy relationships and your own life and everything? Yes. Will everything be chaotic? Yes. However, you can do whatever you want. So at first it was like this, and it's funny because it's, you know, just through the game, but it was like this sense of like, I have infinite power. Hashtag Aladdin. And then it was like, holy crap. And I had to stay focused. And David and I, in the episode, I kept saying, like, I know what Faye would do. I don't know if I can do it. And David was like, no, like, do what Faye would do. And it was not physically, like, but like your stomach clenched, kind of like terrifying in deciding to kill Linda, because then it was like this realization of how much power Faye actually had and the lengths at which she was willing to go. And then, you know, faking her friendships and love life basically for, you know, it really was only like an episode and a half.
Yeah.
But it felt like a long time when we were recording it. And so having to do that.
Yeah, that's tell us more about that. Because people were confused about, wait, has Faye's avatar hood ended after she read Woodard's letters?
Yeah, no, it did not. So in that moment, Faye realized from the letters that she needed to use the people that she was with in order to complete her mission as an avatar. Sorry. And so Faye saw those letters and faked having emotions about it in order to get that group of people back on her side so she could use them as soldiers, basically. She knew they had great skills, they had the information she needed, she couldn't do it alone. And so, it's not great. Faye made decisions, but that was kind of what was going through Faye's head at that time. And so that's why she pretended to get them on her side, but it wasn't, Woodard's letters weren't enough to pull her out of it. And from a game standpoint, it could be argued that they would be, but we all talked about how that just wasn't the narrative we wanted to push, that like Woodard was the only grounding force in Faye's life, or that, something like that could pull Faye out of avatarhood. I really wanted it to be something like Faye has been working on this mystery for forever. And so, Woodard is great and all. But it had to be something that affected her. So yeah. And then pretty much like during the fight with the dragon, at some point, David, you were just like, you're done being an avatar.
Yes, because all through 91, you were like faking your rolls, and you'd be like, I rolled an 8, an 11, look at that. And so you did that, and then at 92, like, you were gonna do that again, and I was like, just no, it's a final fight. Reveal to everybody you're the avatar. No more charades, just go.
Yeah. Which was not my plan, which is totally fine. I was actually going to complete fucking damn. Complete the fight as an avatar, and then, like, at the end of the fight, disappear. And in a future scene, either Faye reappears in some way, or like you see some sort of connection that she sends to Woodard, or like that nature sends to Woodard. But I was going to completely remove the character, and it didn't work out that way, which is totally fine. But that was my original thought from the beginning. But
like
it was just
there
too
would be a final
complicated.
scene. Yeah, like there would be a final scene where Woodard's like sitting at the cottage or something, and like something happens that is obviously Faye's presence in nature or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with the way it worked out, because it was a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way it ended was great. Everybody back together in Esther's new bar, which I really hoped she would name Esther's, because it had been named Morty's. It was all about Morty. And then the bar, I was like, name it Esther's, because now it's all about Esther. But she was like, it's the gangs. And I was like, okay, that's sweet, I guess.
Esther embraced the gang.
It is good.
Did.
It's good.
And
if she had named it Esther, she would just be following the same path that her father followed, and that wasn't what she was about.
Okay, interesting. And which kind of leads me into my next question. Which character do you think grew the most from episode 1 to episode 92?
Javi.
Obviously.
Javi.
Poor Javi.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you who
Man.
didn't. Len.
Not poor Javi. Javi's good. He gets to be a married man now.
Oh, yeah, he is a married man.
Wait, who's he married to again?
No, he's not married. He is a merry man.
Oh.
From Robin Hood.
He's one of the merry
Got it.
men.
Yeah.
That was a fun game.
M-E-R-R-Y.
That was a very fun session. I loved doing that.
Yeah, that was
And who appears for the Merryman? It's like,
X-Man.
awkward.
I was
an
like,
11-year-old.
Oh, God. Freaking X-Man. I was like, what? But it was great.
That
It was
was
hilarious.
so perfect. So good.
We got some useful people with it too, so.
Can you define a metric for growth? Because I feel like change is one thing, but I don't necessarily know if that's growth. right? So
Yeah. I mean, we could do that one too. We could say who changed the most.
Who died the most?
The most.
Esther.
Hey.
Honestly,
Most likely
I
to
think,
die in an episode.
as far as like, if we consider emotional development as the metric for growth, I think Esther probably changed the most throughout the series, because she did go from that kind of very standoffish, I'm part of this thing, but only because I need to do what I need to do, to actually like being a part of this team and like caring for team members and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I agree. And in the last final moments of Misconceptions, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but Esther like chose to sit down next to Billy and like bring him ice cream. And like all throughout this show, she like had nothing to do with the kids. She never brought them anything. She never cared about them. And she like chose to sit down next to him in the booth. And it wasn't until after we like finished recording, I was like, oh my gosh, that was a beautiful, understated moment of character growth. That was very beautiful, Carrie.
I feel like it was interesting to watch Faye's growth and development, like
Yeah.
having to still work at a school and figure things out and be a vigilante at night and get married. Like there was just so many things happening and changing, and seeing like this like very peaceful,
Yeah.
super like, maybe I don't want to say underspoken, but like calm force just turn into not like a not calm force, but just
Well,
I mean,
a murderous force.
yeah.
I killed a lot of people.
As far as like actual change, like who is the most different from the way they started to where they ended, Faye definitely gets that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Murderous
I
force,
think
man.
because I think Faye had the most story beats.
I think so too.
I think so. So yeah, I would agree. I think she is the most changed. So Esther most growth, Faye most changed.
Yep.
I dig it. Before we get to listener questions, did y'all have any questions you wanted to ask?
I don't know if we want to talk about this. We can cut it out if we're not. But do we want to kind of discuss the fact that the end of episode 89 was almost different? That we almost didn't kill Linda?
Yeah, so during the...
Oh,
do you want to?
I was just going to discuss.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So during the Geek Out, after episode 89... Carrie, do you want to tell us about how you were feeling after Linda's death?
Oh, I was like sick to my stomach. I think it was. This is gonna. I don't know. This is all gonna. I feel like it's gonna sound silly, but I think with like everything that's going on in the world, it felt really heavy, and it felt like, I don't know. For me, I was overthinking it because of real life, and it didn't feel right. It made me sick to my stomach, and it made me really, really nervous and stressed out, to the point that we re-recorded a different ending. But that didn't feel genuine. But yeah, it really messed with my head on a personal level. Like it didn't feel good.
Yeah. It was a heavy episode. It definitely was. Yeah, we re-recorded it. We ultimately didn't use it, but if you do go listen to episode 89, the uncut version on Patreon, it's in there.
What made you decide to go with the original ending, Carrie?
I think it was just the genuineness of it. Like the other one, it didn't feel real. It didn't feel like it was right for the listeners, I think. It just, yeah. And I think after I was able to step away, it was like, okay, this is a game. People can understand that it's a game. It's a story that we're telling. And so, yeah. And David and I had some conversations and just, yeah.
Yeah.
It was hard. Though. Yeah.
Like I said, that episode had me like shaking at the end. Mm-hmm. So
I remember that.
Yeah. It's not often that something like this, like a game media like this, is that impactful, like on a personal level. And so the fact that you had those thoughts and that I had those thoughts, I'm sure Tessa had thoughts like that too. It really meant something.
Yeah. Well, as Tessa, I had just a lot of guilt that night. And, you know, my codependency self really wanted to just be like, it's okay, everybody's okay, everything's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. And so it was really hard to separate myself completely from the character and know that, like, what people were upset about in the session wasn't an anger towards me. And to not like blame, like get mad at myself for playing my character, because I also was like, gosh, that was a terrible thing to do. Like, how could I even think of that? And so, you know, it was definitely a great acting moment of having to, you know, ground yourself and it was also late at night, which never helps. We were tired. It was late. It was a rough
like
time. And
1 or 2 in the morning almost. It was late.
Yeah, it was pretty late.
I think for me too, and it's not, I mean, just being completely honest, like, I have a fear of what people are going to think of me, and are they going to be able to separate me from Esther in like my professional life or anything like that. And so I'm constantly fearful of my reputation, which is not healthy. And so I think that played into it as well, of like, I want to make sure that if anybody that I come in contact with as a professional or just in the world out there, if they were to listen to this, like, well, what are they going to think of me as a person? Well, hopefully they're going to realize you were playing a character and like, that's not who you are as a person.
Yeah.
But I fear that people will like think of me a certain way because of it.
Yeah.
Super healthy.
Listeners, Esther is nothing like my wife. They are very opposite. It's a real Jekyll and Hyde situation over here. That's true.
Which is why I had so much fun playing Esther, because she's a person that I never am, and I got to be that. And I've talked with my counselor about that. Like, my character is like somebody that I don't get to be like in real life. I can't be that way.
And your counselor asked you, well, then why don't you be Esther? And you said, no, I like, really can't.
You really don't want
I would destroy all of my relationships if I was.
But like, there is something about her that like it was therapeutic to be able to be like, no, like, I don't care, and I'm gonna do what's best for me, and like blah blah, and then like go back to my real life and like go into my shell.
Well, sure.
Can I quote you on that for my dissertation?
Yeah.
That's kind of the beauty of tabletop role-playing games too, is that you do get to step into someone else's skin or play a part of yourself that you don't get to use that often, and it kind of helps you develop yourself in a way, in a lot of ways.
Oof. I think I just had a realization about Rickett.
Oh?
With you saying that, I think this might get too heavy and I might cut it out. But I just realized that when I'm Rickett, I'm the kid that I wasn't allowed to be because my dad died and I had to step up and help take care of my family.
Yeah.
Jesus. that was a heavy realization to come to on Mike.
Right. Vartosh is me growing up. I was raised in a very Southern conservative household, and things were not great as far as prejudices and stuff, and I've had to get past a lot of that, and so Vartosh is kind of representative of that part of my past, so I get that.
Yeah. Does anyone else get like to do a little deep dive on character or anything like that? Let's just put it all out there for the listeners. No, we don't need to do that.
But no, I think that's a good thing.
Oh, sure, if you're comfortable, yeah.
I just didn't know if Jaime was gonna go.
Nah.
Okay. Also, because I know you haven't listened to the episodes, and I don't know if we ever explained what happened, so that you understand. But Faye had trapped Linda like up to her shoulders in dirt to like question her, and when Linda like wouldn't give in, Faye just like crushed her with the ground.
Well, it wasn't that she would give in; it's that she gave you everything she knew, everything you wanted, and then you killed her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was very dark. And Muhammad had just come out of the house. It was just, ugh.
It was a brutal death. It wasn't like I shot her in the head and it was over kind of thing.
It was very unceremonious. Just boom.
That is pretty brutal.
No, that's another beautiful moment. Because the way I cut it with, and then I crush her in the dirt, and then it's just silence. Then like a music track slowly comes in. Yeah, and we don't see Linda die on camera, and it's just really cool.
It was very good.
Yeah, so little insight into Linda's mind. Linda said she had done everything to be reunited with her brother. There was one thing she had not done yet, was to die and join him in death. Linda wanted y'all to kill her.
Yes.
That's why she was being such an ass.
I am redeemed.
That almost hurts, makes it hurt worse.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but that was the one thing she couldn't do.
That's
well,
nuts.
fix that problem for her.
No, Linda and Logan, very, very tragic story.
Yeah.
Very noir story. That's why she was like goading Esther so much with her dad. And because, like you said, have I not done everything to save my dad? And she was like, he's still dead, isn't he? And then you kicked her in the head.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Which could have killed her, let's be real. In real life.
It probably should have.
She was being like a 12-year-old playing Call of Duty, basically.
Yeah.
Anything she could do to insult you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything that you really wanted to bring into the story but didn't get a chance to do?
Yes. 100% there was. I wanted y'all to do a real heist, like a money heist. And the amount of money, the prize that y'all would have gotten, I would have played on each of you. And at the time, this was when Ren, Bill, everybody, this was around the time that Bill got his family back. So it was going to be like, Ren could use this money to grow his business and get it out of debt. Bill could use this money to give to Sal to get his family out. Faye could use this money, or Faye and Woodard, because Woodard would be speaking into Faye's ear to try to get her to do this, could take that money and redistribute it to everybody. Esther could have used it to help out her bar. So I was going to like have this heist and try to orchestrate some way to like play all of your themes against each other and be like, if you don't take this money, you're going to have to mark a fade or crack in one of your themes.
You're a monster.
That would have been
never
dope.
got to do it.
That would have been really
We
cool.
did Honey Heist.
We did end up doing a heist for Linda's address, which was cool. That was a fun episode.
It was
That was
a
a very
fun
fun
episode.
It allowed us to introduce Goldie, Muhammad's new fiancée.
Indeed.
Well,
And one of the best characters, let's be real.
she is so well designed, and I did not design her.
Super
She is
cool.
from the Knights of Paintown campaign book that City Mist put out.
Yeah.
But she is so cool, like just everything about her.
Yeah. Gosh, she was awesome, and I was very excited to bring her in when I did as a one of the Merry Men.
Yeah,
because she was one of the first people I thought of, because I was like, he's got these armored scales that are gonna cause us issues, and she can soften them. Boom.
She became extremely clutch.
Yeah, she was cool.
David, I may take this back, so you may want to cut this out, but in relation to like the discussion of the heavy things that drive our characters, first, this part I wouldn't want to take out, but for listeners who do not know, I am literally writing a dissertation on the therapeutic benefits of tabletop role-playing games. So
nice.
That was very fun to listen to. I may steal the audio and put it in my dissertation. Anyways, to be discussed.
Be sure to cite us.
Sure.
You have my permission.
Excellent. But yeah, I think, a lot of phase changes happened for those of you who were not aware or hadn't figured it out after Zach and I got divorced. And so you see just a lot of the independence and the freedom that Faye had. And so that was a huge driving factor for me. And I felt like as Faye, I was able to try out a lot of things that I hadn't done because I had gotten married, pretty much right out of high school. And I hadn't tried a lot of things. And so Faye was kind of this character that I could, be sassy or, try this thing or do this or do that and almost test out like the consequences before enacting it in my real life. So yeah, so that was just a really interesting and again, therapeutic, as y'all were saying, outlet for me at the time. And then, the question that I had was, what would have happened if Faye had not accepted Lisa's offer? Like, the nature was dying around her. So what would the consequences of that been?
I think ignoring Linda's request in that moment would have meant a crack or a fade in your nature as a friend of mine.
Lisa, not
and
Linda.
I believe you... Huh?
Lisa.
Oh, Lisa, yeah. I think Faye not accepting Lisa's offer of like, hey, nature's going to die if it doesn't have somebody to attach to and lead it. Like, take this crown. And if Faye had said no, I think you had one fade left in nature as a friend of mine, so obviously that would have cracked. Because I was setting up that scene to pit your dwindling Logos themes against your dwindling Mythos theme.
That would have been really bad. Because I
Faye
would have lost
a lot
all
of power.
fighting power.
You would have had your staff.
Other than the maypole, yeah.
Woo! My staff
Yeah,
with
you
my
had the
2 tags.
Hey, it's something.
Yeah, but after you build up like 6 on one card, to lose that card would be
That's
detrimental.
I didn't realize that that was such an all or nothing decision. Like, it was either Faye gets all this power and then eventually becomes an avatar, or she loses everything. Like, that's nuts.
Yes, it was a very hard decision, which was the point. Hard choice. But yeah, it did, and I meant to say this earlier, Akam, but it like cracked me up because every time that Mohammed was mad at Faye and you were like acting that out, I was like, what the heck, Mohammed? Like, I'm doing the best I can here. Internally, like, I was so perturbed that Mohammed was mad at Faye. Yeah. Which was totally applicable in the scene, but it was just so funny to me.
I mean, it made sense for Mohammed to be mad.
Yes. Oh, 100%.
So let's move on to some fan-submitted questions. The first one is from our good friend Phil. Will anyone face harsh justice for the crime perpetrated against Lynn? Thank you, Phil. No, because the show's over. But I think in a way, yes, because the crew obviously is not going to face any harsh repercussions, but Agatha did. We had the scene where all the bracelets fell off of her tenant's wrists. All these bracelets that were controlling them, and then they like looked at her and sneered and snarled, and she like hid herself away. So really Agatha was taking in she was taking in these rifts that like had nowhere else to go and had these unique powers that she could profit off of, and she gave them a place to stay, but put this bracelet on them with an enchantment that was basically, if you speak out against what's happening here, like what the truth is and what I'm doing, you'll die. Kind of a similar enchantment to what Miss Minnie had on her, except her head would have just fallen off. So yeah, so Agatha got her just desserts. But as for the crew, I mean, no. Yeah, I don't know if this was on
We have to
mic.
live with ourselves.
I kind of have a follow-up question to that.
Huh.
What's going to happen? They're still like the most wanted people in the city.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Like, what are they going to do?
They are the most wanted people. I mean, I don't know. Let's put this in your hands. How did the crew clear their name after the fall of Legendary Solutions and the death of Drace DeSantos?
I mean, we literally saved the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name cleared.
This isn't the Dark Knight,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
We get recognition.
I mean, the sky
gets
turned
leaked.
red, so
Right. It gets leaked that we were the ones.
someone catches a video of Bill on a cloud flying up to the top story.
Sure.
Also, isn't like the mist like still there?
Yeah, so once y'all like defeated everything and did everything, that was another plot thread that we didn't get to explore. I was going to give y'all a village-esque scenario where you have to decide to perpetuate the mist or disband it forever. But ultimately we didn't do that. But yeah, my assumption is like once Drace died and like the tether whatever was going on with the mist ended, like the mist came rushing back in and everybody's minds were muddled again.
Settled
and
back down.
everybody was concealed and all that jazz.
Okay. Well then, yeah, nobody would really know what happened.
I mean, Woodard and Mohammed are good lawyers.
True. Maybe we got everybody, I don't know, mitigated sentences or something.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
And Linda like had a bunch of clues and stuff in her possession and about how she framed y'all. Pip Hamill was found dead in her house.
That's true.
All this stuff. So y'all definitely could have collected
That's
evidence to clear your names.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that makes sense.
The next question is from Jesse. Jesse asks, what was the plan, if any, for how Bill's first mythos was tied to your plans for the ending of the show, and how much did you have to change things when it changed? So, I mean, my original plan was, obviously, for Bill and the other Akkad to be there when the Wall of Mist started expanding outward, and for them to try to stop it, for them to roll something, do something. I hadn't really come up with what the mechanics of it would have been, like if they failed or didn't, or if they failed or did do the thing. Yeah, originally Bill was going to be there, but he wasn't. That mythos was gone, and then the three Bacab got pushed back.
Would Bill have just been stuck there for the battle, holding the wall, this mist back?
I might have, like, if we did like a stop holding back, it might have been a thing where like you burn all your tags and we describe it narratively like his tattoos are there holding the wall at bay while he goes inside the mist with everybody else.
That'd be pretty dope.
That would have been cool.
Like an atlas outline, just...
Yeah.
I've talked a lot this session, more than I intended to. Why don't we rotate reading these questions? Who would like to read the next one?
I'll read the next one. The next one is from Chris. Was it intentional that your character highly reflects Shrek's, or is that a coincidence?
Occam, I have no idea what he is talking about, but this is your friend, so could you please describe
I honestly
what he's
don't
talking about?
remember what spawned this. It was something
I'm guessing
to
it's
do...
the gingerbread man.
Maybe. I honestly
talking about
don't
the main
remember.
characters.
I just thought it was fun. No, he was talking about your NPCs, David.
Oh, really? My NPCs?
Yeah, I can't exactly remember. I would have to. I wish I'd asked him for clarification before we started, but yeah, I don't know.
Did anybody ever say that's a nice boulder?
That's a nice bowl.
It's a nice
I mean,
boulder.
probably.
That's a nice boulder.
So, I feel like we can deduce this. Like, who would Lord Farquaad be?
Deacon?
Pip Hamill.
No, Pip Hamill probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of you will die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. That's literally the Rat Pack's thing.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, and the Rat Pack is like when they take all of the magical creatures in Shrek.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, kinda. Faye is Fiona.
I will say that it was unintentional because David does not like Shrek.
I hate Shrek.
However, he enjoys Shrek the musical.
Hey, the Shrek the musical
You
is
hate
fire.
Not
I do not
love
like
Shrek.
Shrek.
Shrek is
That
very
makes me
good.
very
Not
I
sad.
do
Try
not
watching
like
it in Spanish. It might change your mind.
Okay, I will.
That's
I'll do
it.
that.
That's
Totally.
what's been
That's what it
missing.
is. I need El Shrek.
You need
That's
the
what I'm
romantic
missing.
language.
You can't just add L to things and make it Spanish, David. Stop
El
being so
Niño is
American.
Spanish for the Nino.
Oh my.
No, I despise Shrek.
So
but
coincidence,
I really
obviously.
enjoy Shrek the musical.
Okay.
Okay, so Waddle Squad, what's up, Waddle Squad? Asked, which story or legend was your favorite to adapt into an NPC, and how did you go about doing so?
I wanted to stop talking, and now all these questions are about me.
Most of them are.
I think the one that was the most fun for me to adapt was Lena, the librarian. She was a rift of Artemis, and we never saw her in action. But I had a danger card all typed up for her, and basically, like Esther is also a rift of Artemis, but Lena, or actually no, it's Athena, because Athena Lena was going to be the more militaristic side of her. So she was going to be a absolute badass with that cane. That cane was actually a spear, and she was just going to wreck stuff with it. And she had a giant owl called Athena Noctua, which would have joined her in battle. It's just this huge thing. So I had the most fun adapting her and her owl into the game, and then we never saw her in action. But it was okay, because I think Lena and Esther's stuff was good as it was.
Next question from Chris again. Was there any decision the crew made that completely caught you off guard?
Esther shooting the grenade out of the air at the dog pound.
That was really great.
Because Jimmy the Butcher's entrance was going to be big and bad, and he was going to injure everybody. Because at that time, I had a really hard time injuring Bill. So I was just trying to injure everybody before the fight even started. So that... what else?
When the crew didn't decide anything and you busted the bar.
Sure. Well, I mean, that didn't really change the plans. The beast was always going to find you. It just happened to find you at the bar. And if I had known about this thing called wheels, or clocks rather, I would have had a clock, and like each time y'all wasted time or like failed a move or something, I would have filled in the clock, and then once the clock was full, I would have introduced the beast again. But anyways, I didn't do that. Killing Linda was a big one. I mean, I was telling y'all that happened, but the way it happened, I didn't foresee. I thought it would be like in the heat of the moment. But that was a beautiful moment. Bill choosing to give up his tattoos to save his family. That was a big curveball. because once again, after that, I thought Bill was going to be like, all right, I'll come back with the money. And then I was going to be like, here's a heist that y'all could do. But we didn't. And once again, I think it was a beautiful moment and it didn't need a heist. Yeah, those are the only big moments that were shocking to me that comes to my mind right now.
Yeah. The tattoos thing, as a min-maxer or as somebody who just wants to win at the game, that was not fun. But as somebody who has to play his character, there wasn't another move in my opinion. So
yeah,
it was a great moment.
What about whenever Lord Voldemort decided they weren't going to stop the 18-wheeler and they were just going to kill us?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I wasn't really surprised. That was just kind of per the norm. But I'm ultimately glad that Esther made him not do it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, there's no reason for this.
I was just like,
this
why?
Is dumb.
Why?
On that same topic, what about the crane on the roof?
Oh my
God.
Ooh, the crane.
I put that all behind me. Good Lord.
That was another beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Was it?
Whew.
Yeah, that was good. I forgot about that one.
That legit upset
That was
me.
nuts.
I know.
We could tell.
Yeah,
As a listener, I could tell.
No, that was very cool.
Yeah, that was a crazy moment. Well, our next question comes from Snyder's Return. Hello, Snyder's Return. Will Muhammad get a new car? Only when Guinevere gives out, finally.
Guinevere? Is that the name of your car, Guinevere?
Yeah, Muhammad's car is called Guinevere.
Nice.
And only when she dies completely will he get a new car. He will keep her going until she will not go anymore.
What if Goldie steals you a car?
He will still drive Guinevere unless Goldie makes him drive the new one.
She might drive it instead.
She probably will.
The next question comes from Jesse. Hi, Jesse. He asked...
8 questions.
Right.
Yeah.
His first question is, what would each player change their character's mythos to if they were to fall asleep and then reawaken like Bill did? I will say that clearly I did not have a plan for that because I don't think ahead when I play.
So do you remember?
But
during season 2, Carrie was going to get rid of Esther's Athena mythos. Do you want to tell everybody what your mythos was going to be?
Yeah, but I don't know how it would have worked out. But anyways, I was going to try to be Rocky because I'm obsessed with Rocky. That's real Carrie for you.
Rocky
yes,
Balboa,
100%.
You're always
my
getting beat up, though,
favorite.
so it would work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the funniest, most off-the-cuff answer you could have had for this.
Yeah. So that's real life. But then, at the end when the whole Thor thing happened, I was here for that. So that was completely not something I would have had in mind, but that would have been cool.
Would you have made a Rift of Apollo be her nemesis if that had happened?
That would be cool. Yeah, I would have changed Javi's mythos from Shiva to Apollo Creed to be her nemesis.
Perfect.
What about the rest of y'all?
I did it.
I'll go.
You did.
I did it, but I would.
If you had another choice, what would it be?
I would be my character from that one anime game that we played.
Oh.
That was crazy fun. I don't know.
Zuchi.
Yeah. That was a side
quest. Right! I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that first OVA game.
God, OVA was so much fun.
That was a very fun adventure.
Smoke screening everywhere.
That was awesome.
Basically, yeah.
Zuchi.
Fighting Zucchini. In the parlor, the gambling parlor.
Yeah.
With the baseball team. That's such a good episode.
That was, yeah.
I love that side
so
quest.
good.
If anyone wants to make a podcast of that, that's a fun.
Yeah,
it's a real quirky system.
Oh yeah.
It'd probably be hard to have any longevity, but it could be
I don't know. I think could be fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. God, I think with Muhammad, probably something like Samson or Hercules.
I like it.
Kind of going with a strongman vibe, or something a little more like wild. Something like the Rift of Gordon Ramsay.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Just go around dishing out
Power
Indian
tag,
sandwiches.
just scathing tirade. Tessa, would you have changed Faye's mythos? If she had fallen asleep and rewakened?
I really don't know. I have been thinking very, very hard. I mean, like, everyone I keep thinking of is very similar to Faye. Like, I was thinking of Rapunzel or Anna from Frozen, and like it's kind of the same vibe, just different powers. But I don't know. It could be also fun to do a rift of Miss Marvel. That would be a lot of fun. Or to do like a rift of Jess from New Girl, and all of her power is just like singing. That'd be great.
Oh gosh.
Carrie.
I just thought of another serious answer for mine. Muhammad could be the Muffin Man.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
That would be interesting.
That would have been interesting.
I feel like Sisyphus would have been interesting for playing it out. Like, every time I think I'm going to get my family back, just roll down again.
Man, that would have been nuts.
That would have been, yeah, it would have been very frustrating.
And for the Muffin Man, one of your themes could have been that nobody remembers you, because everybody's always like, do you know the Muffin Man?
Oh, no!
Oh, no. Actually, it could be that everybody remembers me, because yes, I know the Muffin Man.
Oh, you're right. Or you could have some power where you alter people's memory of you. Like, some people remember you, some people don't.
Ooh, that's good. That's good. And it could be my muffins. My muffins have a mind-altering drug in them.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There you go. There's a character idea for free listeners. The Rift of the Muffin Man. That's a pretty dope idea.
It's pretty neat. I like it.
All right, what's the next one?
We kind of answered it. Do any of you have backup character ideas in case your character died or something? If so, what were they? If not, what would they be? What other mythos would you want to play in City of Mist?
Yeah. And this is also from Jesse, right?
Yeah.
Yes, still
Okay.
from Jesse.
I would play a recovering alcoholic who was the Rift of Bacchus, because I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be a very good way to play between your mythos and your logos. God. I'll say that again. To play between your mythos and your logos.
I early on talked about because when we started, we were watching iZombie, and so I had talked about doing like some kind of live more thing.
Which, funnily enough, you did play that character.
I did play that character
Off mic.
Yeah, I don't think I did it well, so I'm glad that I didn't.
It was just for fun.
But
did you have
anyways,
fun?
I
Then
had
you
fun.
did it well.
That was a fun
But-
little session.
But yeah, the neat thing about that is like, you know, if you've seen iZombie, she eats the brains and takes on that personality, and so that was fun to try to play.
Yeah, because every session, Carrie would eat a
I was
different
on
brain
a different
and
brain
be a
and
different
like,
person.
Yeah,
Like, she would change the game and have like different
was really
tags
funny.
connected to that brain, but then she would change like how she role played.
yeah.
It was cool. I like that character.
It's tricky though.
I liked the old man brain the best. That one
what
was
I was
really
gonna
funny.
Was that your last brain?
Probably.
I think that was the last
I
brain
think
you
it
had.
was.
Carrie, that was also at a point when you were I think you were in like your third trimester, because for most of the session you were in the recliner, like feet up because your feet were swollen and like stuff like that's on your belly. Like that's what was holding your play stuff.
You had your dice tray on your stomach.
I remember that. I completely remember that. That was so funny.
That feels like so long ago.
2 years ago.
David, you should be able to answer this next one. Still from Jesse. If you were a player in your own game or another City of Mist game, what would you play?
Yeah, that one's interesting. No, so I totally know what character I would play. I would play the boy Kai from the it's the fairy tale that Frozen is based off of by Hans Christian Andersen. I think
the Ice
Winter
Queen
Witch. Or
the Ice Queen?
The Ice Queen, something like that.
But anyways, Kai's whole thing is he gets a mirror shard that was made by these demons, and the demons were like, we want to make a mirror where everybody sees the worst things in themselves and others, and we shatter it and throw it in everybody's eyes. And so he gets it in his eye, and so he like turns into this awful person because he sees everybody's faults. So I would have played a rift of him, and he would have had a bastion mythos of like, because as he gets colder and colder, his body actually gets colder and colder, and he stops feeling. So he would have been like an ice hard body where he just like, you could break his arm and he wouldn't feel it. He would just keep going.
That's awesome.
And then also, of course, his eyes would have allowed him to see the fault in everything. Like that brick wall, if you punch it right here, it'll collapse. Or this person thinks this about themselves, we should exploit that. He would have been very Karnak from Marvel's Inhumans, but less like martial arts fighting stuff. I never really thought up a logos for him, though. I thought about him being a writer, and like he can never finish his book because all he can see is the fault in his own writing. Or like a photographer, and like he takes pictures, and like there are these beautiful things, but all he can see is the flaws in it. Something really like that. But yeah, a rift of Kai from the Winter Queen, the Frozen Queen, something like that.
Also from Jesse, who was your favorite character to appear in the show?
I say this for everybody.
Oh yeah,
Alec Baldwin.
Those one-dimensional
honestly,
characters.
that's a good answer.
Amy Maldehyde.
Linda's neighbor, the old lady.
That Carrie NPC.
That was great.
The pie lady.
That was so good.
That was fun. I had forgotten about that.
I loved that character so much.
Again, this goes back to like what we were watching when we started Misconceptions, but I was really into Castle, which is a phenomenal show. And so having Javi in as my like person throughout the show and stuff, I really enjoyed that. And I'm always picturing Javi from Castle when he's on screen.
Javi's great.
I don't know. There were lots of characters that came
Woodard.
to mind. I mean,
it's your fictional husband.
Come on now.
Right. Well, I mean, that was of course the first
was a
one that came to
softball.
mind, but that was too predictable. So I wanted to, like switch it up a bit.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, no. I mean, of course, Woodard is phenomenal, and for those of you who don't know, David based Woodard off of one of the Bachelorette contestants long ago that I had a crush on. And so, like, Woodard has been my guy.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yep.
That's so funny.
Whenever we got the character art for Woodard for the crossover poster, I had to go find that dude's picture. And I was like, I don't even remember, like, what season he was on, what his name is. So it was a deep dive into Bachelor history to find that dude's picture to send it to him.
He's a beautiful human being.
Amazing.
But yeah, no, I mean, Woodard is great. I also I loved the Like, I of course loved Lynn, despite my actions. And
Despite how I loved him so much, I killed him.
and I loved Deacon too. Like, Deacon was my bud at the beginning, and then that just kind of like didn't stay on that path. But Deacon was good people that I was like, do I trust that you are actually good people?
No, he was definitely going to be a good person, but he was going to be corrupted by bad people.
Sure.
That was always going to be Deacon's story. Like he was a good person, but he was not like romantically attracted to Pip Hamill, but he loved Pip Hamill. He loved the idea of Pip Hamill, like a powerful man, a commanding presence. You know, things that Deacon never was.
Wow.
What's the next question?
Something. Wada wada
Probably
wada.
from
It's-
Jesse.
Tell us the rift of everyone.
Oh my god.
every mythos, yeah.
We don't.
Let's do it like this. You tell me an NPC, and I'll tell you the rift.
Lynn.
Javi.
Okay. Javi was Shiva. Lynn was the doppelganger.
Ooh.
Miss Minnie.
Miss Minnie was Mimir.
Pedro.
Pedro was not a rift. He was a sleeper.
Deja.
Deja was... I
He has
actually
to pull
had
out
to
the
do...
book.
Woo woo.
I had to do a lot
She
of
was a
research.
rift?
You know what? Deja, going back to that one question, I was like, what mythos did you like adapting into an NPC? I really enjoy making Deja.
She was cool.
I didn't even know she was a rift.
Once I figured out
It was a very short
Sure.
what her
That
rift
lasso.
was.
She had that lasso of truth.
Yeah, she was... some people thought she was...
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. She was not. Jeremiah, Divinia, Deja. She is the mythos of Virupaksa from Indian mythology. They are all about justice and hunting. And they hunt with their
Interesting.
their pasha, which is what their lasso was. And they also have something called the divine sight, and that was what that giant ball was. So she could send the divine sight into like technology or anything to have it find who she was looking for.
Interesting.
And that's why Linda hired her to find Paul St. George.
Oh.
Was James a rift?
James was a sleeper.
Dr. Jacoby?
Dr. Jacoby was a rift of Dr. Moreau from The Island of Dr. Moreau, the novel.
Gotcha.
Carmine Giuseppe.
Carmine Giuseppe was a rift of Mammon, greed.
Amy Maldehyde was a sleeper.
Amy Maldehyde was a sleeper, as much as I love her pea-picking little heart.
Jesse.
Jesse was a rift of the girl with the dragon tattoo, and I used it very liberally.
I love that series.
Who's Jessie?
She's the one.
Come on.
She worked with Bill.
Oh,
She tried
She
to
was the
kill
one that
me.
attacked you in your apartment.
got it. Yep.
I think I killed her.
Right.
You did kill her.
I thought I killed her.
No, Bill hit her so hard that her arms turned into noodles.
Oh.
Right.
Actually, that's I think that's a fun fact about Esther is that I don't think, other than Lynn, she didn't kill anybody, and she never shot to kill.
I think that was mentioned in an episode. I think you said you don't have to shoot to
Yeah,
kill.
you kept kneecapping
made a
people.
point about it.
Were Miss Minnie's sons rifts?
I was going to ask about them.
They were rifts of giants.
Just, okay, of Jotun. Okay.
Just giants. Just like, Jotuns. Or Jotuns.
I thought
however you
maybe
pronounce
it was the Three Stooges.
Three Stooges.
I mean, that would have worked.
Jeremiah was a rift of Yom Chamil, the Mayan god of death.
Was my dad a rift? I can't remember.
Yes, your dad was a rift. Your dad was the rift of Hector from the Odyssey. And
Nice.
it took me so long to figure out what that rift was because I wanted him. I was like Googling. It was like mythology about foreseeing their own death. And there is a small part in the Odyssey where Hector prophesies that if he dies, the city will also die. And so I kind of ran with that. And also a big part of Hector's character is that he's a dad. And so he's a dad, he's a good warrior, and he foresaw his own death. And I was like, this is the perfect rift for him. Nice. So yeah, he is a rift of Hector from the Odyssey.
Were any of the kids a rift?
No. They were sleepers that were being manipulated by the Pied Piper.
What about that wolf dude? That wolf officer?
Oh, that was Logan. Right?
No. He, Cooper Wheatley was a rift of the Sheriff of Nottingham. And, like, right. Tessa would not let go of this character that was supposed to be a one-off. But it was connected to her mythos, so...
Yeah, I mean, we talked about him late into the game.
He was very sus.
Is there anyone you can think of, David, that we're missing?
Some cool rifts that you cooked up.
I don't think so. The Beast was inspired by artwork from the game Evolve.
Who was the one that we fought that was all like on fire? The one that Muhammad and Woodard killed?
Jimmy the Butcher.
Was that Jimmy? Okay.
Yeah. He did not have a rift. He did not have a rift, and basically where he got all of his powers was from Dr. Jacoby experimenting on him.
Okay.
Also, the library at Rook and Bishop Street was a rift. It was the rift of the Library of Alexandria. If y'all had started any violence, the whole place would have started to burn down.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang. That's cool, though. I like that. I like the idea of buildings being rifts. That's neat.
I mean, they are. They 100%
that's fair.
can be.
Good point.
Anything in the city can be a rift.
That's true.
Even Guinevere?
Even Guinevere. She is the rift of Pegasus.
Hey, Guinevere was the rift of Lil Jon.
No, Mohammed is the rift of Little John.
Yeah, I'm the rift of Little John.
God, Tessa.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Faye, get it right.
92 episodes.
It's not that I didn't know that.
It's not like it was revealed in the first 10 seconds of him existing.
That you didn't.
It's that I was making a reference to the license plate on Guinevere.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what
I was thinking of the hip-hop artist. I was thinking the car screamed, yeah, really loud.
Yeah! Every time it backfired, it's screaming, yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
And if Jesse, if you can think of any that we didn't get to, you can tweet at the show, and we'll hit you back.
Yes.
Yep.
Seriously.
Tweet at the show or put it in the Discord.
Message us and we'll answer. Because we can't remember. It's 4 years of thinking back right now.
Yeah. Lots of people. Lots of risks.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Next question?
Yeah, what's next?
Next question comes to us from Shepherd Moonbear. Hi, Shepherd. In the first few episodes, y'all talked about the theme songs for characters. Ooh. Would you say they have changed or stayed the same? If they changed, what would they be now? Who remembers what songs we picked? Because
Bill was Highway to Hell.
I do. Yeah, Bill was Highway to Hell. Do you remember what you were, Faye?
Absolutely not.
Faye, you were a Michael Jackson song about healing the world.
Earth, yes.
And Esther, you were Super Chick, Rock What You Got.
Yeah.
And Rin was the theme song of Chuck. So yeah, what would your theme song be now? And Akam, what would Mohammed's theme song be?
I think Mohammed's theme song is Big Iron by Marty Robbins.
I think Esther's would now be the theme song of Cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Dun, 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 dun.
Especially
And
now
they're
she's
always
wanted.
glad you came.
Tessa, you go.
I was really hoping
All right, I
you were
got
going to go.
There's a lady who's sure all that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven.
Good choice. Good song.
Yeah. It would not be that same song. I can guarantee that.
Could I posit one to you, Tessa?
Please, God, do. Yeah.
Good for You by Olivia Rodriguez?
Yes. Specifically, the Good For You Paramore mashup.
Oh.
Yeah. I accept that. Yeah. A good Olivia Rodrigo. Not
Oh, is that Rodriguez?
just pretty much her sour album was Faye at the end.
She's got good stuff. She got good stuff.
Next question from Tavos. Is that how you say his name?
Mm-hmm.
Is Logan being named Logan a shout out to the early episodes of season 1 where you discussed/talked about your childhood nemesis / former acquaintance, Logan?
Not discussed. Dissed.
Yes.
100% Logan is named after our arch nemesis, Logan.
Oh, wow.
Oh gosh.
I still don't know if we're talking about the same person.
It's
but I
Wasabi
think
Dude.
I know who
We
we're
have
talking
purported
about.
him to be way
Wasabi
worse
Dude.
than he is. So
There's
it's
no
probably-
doubt in my mind that he's a flat earther now, based on
I
my
remember you
knowledge
guys
of him as a
talking
kid.
about him in my first episode on the show. I'm pretty sure.
That is what happened. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
24 episodes in, we're
I
still
always brought
ripping
him
on
up.
this dude.
You did, like, every
You know what?
episode.
Logan is definitely somewhere taking ivermectin right now.
Ivermectin.
What?
Ivermectin? Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh.
The FDA
That tells
is
me everything I
turning
ever needed to know about him.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes,
We started it like we ended it, folks.
Logan, you
Listen,
still
Logan.
suck. I don't even know you.
Oh,
All right.
Oh,
The next
gosh.
question is from Waddle Squad. What was Javi's mythos, which we answered? It was Shiva. And what about it was so dangerous that he had to be mind wiped to stop him from going on a rampage against Carmine?
Yeah, well, Shiva's whole thing is she is the destroyer of evil. And once fully awakened, Javi would destroy it. And in fact, in Morty's letter, he talked about how Javi can't stand injustice. He hates it. And so when they were working for Carmine Giuseppe was making them think what they were doing was the right thing. It was noble. It was good. And then once they found out that they were just killing people to line his pocketbook with their wealth, Javi snapped, and mechanically, one of his themes cracked all the way, and he gained another one, and he was very close to becoming an avatar. And at that point, he would have gone straight up to Carmine Giuseppe and killed him, because greed is evil. Or at least the greed that Carmine Giuseppe was manifesting as. So yeah, that is why Morty did everything he did to pave the way for Esther to destroy the Cabal and save the city.
Nice.
Which that was really cool. I really like that part of the story. Finally learning what happened to Morty and his, once again, tragic history with his friends.
It's pretty cool.
Did anyone else have like a soft spot for Carmine Giuseppe? Like, he wasn't the worst. He wasn't a good guy, but he was chaotic neutral.
No.
Oh, he's definitely chaotic neutral. Well, I don't know.
It's because of the
He's
mob.
probably
It's-
lawful
it's
evil.
like it's like you want to watch stuff about the mob. It's like real Goodfella-esque, you know.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
Feels like a
Probably.
wise guy that you just want to laugh at.
It's like when we watched Tiger King, and the most normal one that we were like, hey, this guy is kind of okay.
This dude's chill.
Was the drug lord.
Yeah, it was the drug lord that Scarface was based off of.
So yeah, it was like that. That's what that made me think of. Wow, we went way back.
Yeah, do you remember that? Back when we were trying so hard not to get COVID.
Y'all still try.
We were still
so
trying.
hard.
I know. We were still trying, but now we have it.
Yay.
Also, I think I'm running a fever now. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
are
you should
a little
probably
warm.
pop some meds. Get you some
Definitely
ivermectin.
take some meds.
I need to go get my ivermectin from Tractor Supply.
We have to say we're joking. We're just kidding. Don't.
We're joking. Do not do this.
Please.
Get the completely
Don't
safe
get
vaccine,
ivermectin.
please.
Get a vaccine.
You gotta take the Michael Jordan approach.
Oh yeah, stop it. Get some help.
Stop it. Get some help. What's the next question?
the
The
last,
last
question. Oh.
Are we doing this now? Is this a thing?
All right, are you reading it?
Oh no, you're reading it.
Okay, the final question from Waddle Squad. Will the gatekeepers make an appearance in Misconceptions 2, or will they still not exist?
I'm not
Spoiler.
going to spoil what Misconceptions 2 is going to be,
No spoiler.
but no, the gatekeepers will not be in Misconceptions 2 because Misconceptions 2 is not going to be City of Mist. It will be another Powered by the Apocalypse system. I will not reveal what that is. But if you want to know more about Misconceptions 2, you should definitely follow us on Facebook and Twitter because we will be posting about Misconceptions 2 and our big reveal of what it's going to be there. Boom.
End
Do we
of
have
episode.
do we have anything else?
Thank you, listeners. We love you guys.
Yeah. This was a labor of love, and sometimes it was not a labor that I love to labor on, but the interaction with the fans is what kept me going through a lot of it. So thank you for being so interested in this nerdy thing we do, and also thank you to Occam for jumping in the last and helping us finish the show and doing a beautiful job finishing it. Thank you to Jaime for the character of Bill and for forcing me to learn the rules of City of Mist, so that I could argue back with you. But also just creating this character that everybody loves. Everybody loves Bill. And thank you to Tessa and Carrie for being here from episode 1 to episode 92. And thanks to everybody for, believing in a little idea and making it into something that people love to listen to.
And thanks to David.
Thank you for a great story, David.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, shucks.
For dragging most of us to the finish line. Yeah, you still dragged me.
I still dragged you. I got you there.
I still made it.
We took a shortcut through the bushes, but
You
I got
only
you
missed
to the
11
finish line.
episodes. It's really not bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. All right.
As we go on,
What is this?
we remember all the good times we
We all should.
had together.
Together.
It's a graduation.
It's going to be really hard because when he sings this, none of us are going to be in time.
Beautiful. We started with a song. We end with a song.
I had to do it. I was sitting here. I was like, "What is that song?"
Thank y'all so much for listening. See y'all for Misconceptions 2. Bye.
Now you have to say end of.
Oh, sure. End of
of
Misconceptions.
episode. Oh.
Carrie.
That's what you end it with.
That's perfect.
Thanks for listening to the Geek Out After the series of Misconceptions. Sorry it was a little late, but COVID and everything put me behind. In fact, this was recorded when I had COVID, and when I said I think I have a fever at the end of this, I was running a fever. I was running in 101 degree temperature fever. So I'm all better now. It all works out. We're all better. get vaccinated, wash your hands, cover your mouths. And like I said earlier, if you want to know when Misconceptions 2 is going to be released, join our Facebook and Twitter page. You can also join our Discord, or if you want to be one of the very first people to know about it in the entire world, join our Patreon, because they will get an exclusive sneak peek before anybody else. Thank you so much for listening to Misconceptions. We love you so much, and we hope that we'll see you back for Misconceptions 2. Keep it nerdy, y'all.